Hey, high school literacy leaders, welcome back to another episode of Curriculum Chats. This is DLC Foster Yankee, and in this video, I'll be discussing Section 1, Lesson 5, the section Diagnostic in the Antigone unit, or Section 1 Diagnostic. So our goals for this lesson have students responding using acquired content and academic vocabulary as appropriate in the Section 1 Diagnostic, developing their Section 1 diagnostic drafts into focused, structured, and coherent piece of writing by developing an engaging idea reflecting depth of thought with specific details, examples, and commentary, and displaying academic citations, including for paraphrased and quoted text within their Section 1 diagnostic. Students will be, of course, getting those academic citations from the text, Antigone, and the materials they'll be using are the Section 1 Diagnostic Checklist, Culminating Task Progress Tracker, Character Argument Note-Taking Tool, Vocabulary Journal, and Integrating Quotations and Organization Reference Guides. In this lesson, students have read the historical context for Antigone and heard the beginnings of Antigone's and Ismene's argument regarding what to do with the body of their slain brother Polynices. The new king, Creon, mandates that the body not be buried. To demonstrate their understanding of the arguments, they will write responses using specific details from the text to analyze why Creon has ordered that Polynices not be buried. This lesson begins with students working with a partner and reviewing their learning log notes about the jigsaw activity, annotations for the text Antigone, responses to the question set, and character argument note-taking tool. They discuss what they have learned thus far about the importance of burial, family, and laws in Antigone. Those would probably make great anchor charts. Maybe an anchor chart for each one for burial, one for family, one for laws in Antigone. Next, students review the Section 1 diagnostic checklist and discuss with their partner how the expectations of this task fit with the notes they have taken. They also talk about how to meet the expectations listed on the Section 1 diagnostic checklist and identify questions they have about the task. Then, in a class discussion, students ask clarifying questions so they are ready to begin planning and writing their response to the question. For the teaching notes, teachers should briefly discuss the task and expectations with the students, explaining what they should be able to demonstrate through their responses. Try to anticipate any clarifying questions they may have. In the next optional activity, students individually read pages 1 through 3 of the Integrating Quotations Reference Guide, and then respond to the questions on the screen in a whole class discussion. Next, they look through the rest of the reference guide. As they draft their section diagnostics and culminating tasks, they should think strategically about how to present their evidence through quoting or paraphrasing. It will be important to cite all their evidence with parenthetical citations, no matter how they include the evidence, and they use the Integrating Quotations Reference Guide for support. For the teaching notes, students will likely have learned how to use parenthetical citations in their formal writing. This is an optional activity to remind students how to effectively use evidence to support their writing. If students struggle with citing evidence, teachers should consider modeling different citation examples with a model source and text. So even if the teacher doesn't believe the whole class needs this activity, it might be worth taking into consideration which small groups of students or which individuals would benefit from this activity. In activity 3, students begin planning their response by outlining their ideas about why Creon mandates that the body of Polynices not be buried. They should be sure to consult the Section 1 diagnostic checklist, their annotations, learning log, and the character argument note-taking tool. Teachers might facilitate a discussion about explanatory writing and the various ways students choose to structure their responses, referring to the organization reference guide if necessary. If students demonstrate difficulty with writing, teachers should determine where they struggle. Do they need additional support with finding textual evidence or developing a writing plan? Or do students need support at the writing level? Well, this would be a good time to be conducting some conferences with students as they're working on their outline. Mhm. Next, students draft their responses to the Section 1 diagnostic question. They will have the opportunity to revise their response after receiving feedback from their teacher. Students should be sure to use content and academic vocabulary from their vocabulary journal where appropriate. If timing is an issue, teachers might extend the planning and drafting stages over multiple class periods. It is important that students receive feedback on their section diagnostic performance as soon as possible. Providing timely academic feedback is crucial to students' literacy development and understanding of their own proficiency. Academic feedback should provide students with relevant information in the midst of their learning process, and it should include concrete ideas of how to improve their skills. Feedback is meaningful only when students are motivated to use and apply it, and when teachers acknowledge students' use and application. Taking a balanced approach to feedback is key. Teachers should acknowledge a student's areas of strength and growth while providing constructive feedback for areas of improvement. As they review students' responses, teachers should consider how students performed as a group. If the whole class struggled in a particular area, especially regarding the skills and knowledge they will apply on the culminating task, the teacher might conduct a brief mini lesson or model the use of one of the tools with the entire class. There is an optional lesson at the end of the section that provides students the opportunity to revise their section diagnostics based on teacher feedback. The evaluation plan highlights other upcoming lessons and activities that provide students with opportunities for continued or expanded practice. To prepare for these lessons and student success on the next section diagnostic, it will be important for teachers to carefully read and analyze the text and question sets in light of students' demonstrated learning. Be sure to implement the Preparing to Facilitate Student Responses protocol, which involves carefully reading the text through the lens of the provided questions, providing model responses, and anticipating potential misconceptions. Consider sentence stems or sentence frames for the explanatory response if needed. Students might also work as a peer or in a small group of students if needed, as this is the first section diagnostic, setting up an atmosphere of support. A lot to take into consideration as students are drafting their responses. Right, skip too far ahead. There we go. In this lesson's final activity, students choose at least 3 of the questions on the screen regarding the section diagnostic and respond to them in their learning log. Next, students find their culminating task progress tracker and think about the knowledge they have gained and the skills they have practiced thus far in the unit. Then use the culminating task progress tracker to add or refine any skills and content knowledge required for the culminating task. Evaluate how well they are mastering the skills and knowledge required for the culminating task. Further teaching notes, metacognition and progress monitoring, or being aware of one's own progress and using it to determine what skills and knowledge still need to be mastered, improves student progress. As students become more aware of their own performance, they learn how to more accurately predict their future performance on a range of other tasks. By identifying and self evaluating initial mastery levels, students can focus on the skills and knowledge they need to build. Finally, this kind of practice can help teachers make more finely tuned instructional decisions because they have feedback from students about the skills they need to practice. Teachers might have students complete this metacognitive activity in class so they can gather feedback from several students regarding what they have learned and what they still need to learn. This kind of student generated data can be invaluable as it can inform their instructional practices in the next section. They might create a visible class tracker for each class, noting student learning along the way. If students complete this activity for homework, teachers might allot time at the beginning of the next lesson for students to discuss their responses. Another option is to facilitate a discussion about some or all of the guiding questions to help students reflect on their completion of the section diagnostic. Teachers should also encourage students to make connections between what they have learned in this section and in the section diagnostic and what is required to successfully complete the culminating task. As their understanding of the unit's content and required skills mature, students might refine what they previously noted in the culminating task checklist. And move on to the cub. Okay, so one suggested cub for this lesson is students will know why Creon has ordered that Polynices not be buried. They'll understand each character's argument regarding what to do with the body of Polynices and be able to write responses using specific details and academic citations from the text to analyze why Creon has ordered that Polynices not be buried in the Section 1 diagnostic. So that is a wrap for the first section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the Section 2 videos.